This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, yes, you know, it does not matter who I am. Yeah, it doesn't really. It matters who you are. It really has, always has, and all that kind of fun stuff. So, let's talk about it. Today is Thursday, February the 22nd of 2024. I almost said 2022. I think about how far behind I am. Day 53 of the year and only 313 days left to go before the end of this thing. Anyways, we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM and hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Radio USA, Canada, UK.
Oh, yes, hanging out with our friends at RadioBig.fm. So I have some heartbreaking news to start off with. If you were planning on going to the Cannons concert tonight, it is sold out. Not happening if you're down in LA. So just a little FYI. But if you want to make it to the one in let's see, what is it? Albuquerque, New Mexico. There are still tickets available for tomorrow night. Yeah, see you there. No, I really wish that was the answer. Anyway, so let's start talking. Yeah, I'm just kidding. If you don't know who Cannon's in, you should probably look up who they are. Yeah, you might enjoy life as much as I do. Yeah, with some musical nostalgia, if one may say so themselves. Anyway, so if you're not familiar with what the hell we do around here, that's okay. I'm going to give you an explainer anyways. Drive some people crazy that I talk about it every day. But hey, it makes it easier for me in regards of what we do. So we are a show that talks about safety in the news. News and safety. Okay? So what we do in hour number one is we bring in some professional broadcasters. They talk a little bit about what the hell is going on in one side of the world of the news. We throw in some content related to safety inside of there just to have it. Hour 2 and 3 are music related and entertainment related, so don't worry about that. That normally happens on the Radio Big side of the house. If you want to interact with the show, simple process, callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. They'll get everything moving and grooving for you. It's kind of a simple process. Call in radio, text messaging, audio messaging, video messaging, all three options that are there. You'll probably be the most successful with text messaging because I'm an ass and I forget to check some of these things. Also, there's some aspects to it on social media that you can do the video side of the house. Take a look if you want to, if you're not hanging out on the podcast or the radio streamers, which would be on safetyfm.com or radiobig.fm. Now, when I say those two things, or a few things there, what you might want to keep in mind is the following. There are also some streaming apps for the radio side. And our radios, both of them, stream 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with a plethora of information. So there you go. So yesterday I'm hanging out and I get to do this cool thing that I really enjoy, and I get to curate some of the shows that we do here. And what I get to do is I get to go around and listen to all the different hosts that we have on Safety FM and get to take a listen to what the hell they're up to as that information is spread among our little network here. And some of the shows are long, some of the shows are very short format, and some of them are pretty intriguing as you get to take a look around. Now, if you are in the safety world and you have not taken a listen to one of our newest shows called the Hop Podcast with No Name, you're missing out. So you might want to take a listen to that when you go to safetyfm.com. Click on right there and click on the aspect that says the different shows that we have, and we'll have one listed. Now, I have to tell you this. While I was gone to Wollongong, we worked a little bit, and I was talking to a previous show host, and not on my network, but a previous show host that had a show that was pretty popular. And we started talking about what the future could look like if that show reemerged. So, the conversation went well. We'll see what ends up happening. I'm kind of intrigued, but we'll talk about that as we get closer into it and all that kind of fun stuff. Anyways, let me stop blabbing. Let's start talking right away about what the hell was trending in the overnight.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so as I take a look at the ends of the ends of the ends and the trends, another crisis plagues the border, and Jeff Bezos cashes out. We'll talk about that some more here in a moment. Beyonce dominates country music charts, and Justin Timberlake will release another new track. More about that as we get into show business. Is Jimmy Kimmel ready to leave late night TV? We'll talk about that in Casting Call. Kim Kardashian wants you to buy her used and dirty purse. Okay. And the King's Charles message is finally headed for pounded notes. So we'll talk about some of that stuff if you're all intrigued about it. Outside of that, well, we got some news ready for you because that's what we do. Do you want to know who's waiting at the desk to talk to you this morning? Well, Mark Mayfield's here. He's ready to tell you the down and dirty of what the hell's going on. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Here's some Mark Mayfield coming your way with the news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Mark Mayfield. Vice President Kamala Harris is calling the Alabama Supreme Court ruling that frozen embryos are considered children outrageous. Last week's ruling said embryos created during in vitro fertilization are extrauterine children, and in Alabama are legally protected like any other child. The Biden administration is announcing over $1 billion of student loan debt forgiveness. Michael Kastner has the story.
Borrowers in the Saving on a Valuable Education, or SAVE program, who've made at least 10 years of payments are getting an email from President Biden. That amounts to an estimated 153,000 borrowers. The Biden administration has now approved loan relief for nearly 3.9 million Americans. A plan to forgive $20,000 in loans for 40 million people was invalidated by the Supreme Court last year. I'm Michael Kastner.
James Biden is claiming his brother, President Joe Biden, was never involved in any of his financial deals. James Biden sat down for an hours-long interview with lawmakers on Wednesday as part of the Republican-led impeachment inquiry into the president. He denied claims that President Biden used his official positions to profit from his family's overseas business ventures. United is set to resume a daily flight from Newark to Tel Aviv. Brian Shook fills us in.
It marks the first time since October when passenger and cargo services were suspended following the attack by Hamas militants on southern Israel. Initial flights on March 2nd and 4th will stop in Munich, with the goal to begin nonstop daily service starting March 6th. United says it will continue to monitor things in Tel Aviv. The airline will become the first American carrier to resume direct service. I'm Brian Shook.
And Boeing is replacing the head of its 737 MAX program. The company announced Wednesday that Ed Clark is leaving Boeing after nearly 2 decades. The 737-9 MAX jet has been under scrutiny since a door plug blew out during an Alaska Airlines flight last month. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in the UK, I'm John Beaver. the Speaker of the UK House of Commons is under growing pressure to step down. Sir Lindsay Hoyle is expected to meet with party leaders later after a debate on a ceasefire in Gaza descended into chaos. More details are emerging about a coalition deal to form a new government in Pakistan, 2 weeks after the general election there. And US authorities have charged a suspected Japanese crime leader with conspiring to traffic nuclear materials.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety
President
Show.
Biden is calling out Donald Trump for his response to the death of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny. In a video posted online Tuesday, Biden said that Trump and other Republicans refused to hold Vladimir Putin responsible for Navalny's death.
Trump said Navalny's death made him realize how bad America is. He said, and I quote, "We are a nation in decline, a failing nation," end of quote. Why does Trump always blame America? Putin is responsible for Navalny's death. Why can't Trump just say that?
Biden noted that Trump made no mention of Putin in his response and instead complained about his legal troubles in the U.S. The president also slammed Trump over his recent comments on NATO, in which Trump suggested the U.S. might not protect NATO allies who don't spend enough on defense. Donald Trump is revealing a list of potential running mates. Trey Thomas reports.
During a Fox News town hall event Tuesday in South Carolina, Trump confirmed he's considering South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, and South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem to be his vice president. Other potential picks include entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy, Florida Rep Byron Donalds, and former Hawaii Rep Tulsi Gabbard. Trump said they're all solid choices, but didn't say when he plans to announce his pick. I'm Trey Thomas.
The firm formerly known as Toshiba is recalling over 15 million AC laptop adapters. According to a notice from the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, recalled adapters can overheat and spark a fire, posing a burn risk. The firm, now called Dynabook, says it has received more than 600 reports of the affected adapters melting, catching fire, or overheating. And the trial in the murder of Tupac Shakur is being delayed. On Tuesday, KTNV reported that the trial has been pushed back to November. Dwayne Keefe D. Davis is accused of organizing the murder of Tupac and recently hired a new lawyer who has asked for more time. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hackneyed? Safety trainers still preaching a warped version. How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago. Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
I know you all want to hit your revenue targets and get the launch done. Well, making sure that your team knows what to do and how to do it is a huge part of it. So I'm sure that you all do different kinds of training, and I'm willing to bet that you probably use PowerPoint, Zoom, etc. I also bet that when you get someone droning on about a topic using these tools, you probably zone out. And your team does too. I mean, it is a reality of what happens. That's why I strongly recommend a tool called Articulate 360. That makes it so easy to whip together interactive, really beautiful e-learnings that really engages people and gets info across. You can create short-form micro-learning, super interactive courses, and really whatever you need when you're in their site. Then with a couple of clicks, you can send it out and check on it and see the progress of your team. Your team can also check back on the training anytime they want in a super simple portal. Literally everyone uses Articulate. Over 120,000 companies and all 100 Fortune 100 companies. Check it out at articulate.com/360 to start a free trial. That's articulate.com/360 to start your free trial. And don't forget to tell them that I was the one that sent you there.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show. Self-implode on our airwaves. Only on Safety FM.
Oh, you know it, because that is what happens around here. We just self-implode on the airwaves because, that's a good graphical thing to take a look at in regards to what we're doing. Anyway, so let's start getting into it. It is 17 minutes past the top of the hour, and we have a shit list that we need to talk about. So let's do it right now. The innovative artificial intelligence chat box called ChatGPT went off of the rails on Tuesday night as users across the globe posted screenshots of the gibberish answers that they received. In some cases, the responses were as weird as a mix of English and Spanish together, or Spanglish for those. In others, the bot spat out the same sentence or phrase over and over and over again. There's some bizarre examples out there. No word yet on what caused the hiccup. The developers had the problem contained by Wednesday morning, and they haven't yet announced what was behind the glitch. This is according to Gizmodo. So worth noting, while the ability of a chat box with a computer program can make it feel like they're living in the future, remember that the large language models that power those technologies are based on predicting the words that come next as the function of ingesting the trillions of words that are on the internet. So a bot that spots out nonsense as a result of constantly scourging the internet might be working at exactly right, because hey, the internet is full of some gibberish stuff.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Hey, it's not about entertainment, it's about keeping it real, baby. You know how it goes. No, seriously. I mean, there's going to be a bunch of gibbery, because that's the way that it goes. Anyways, the secondary border crisis not getting nearly as much attention as the flood of illegal immigrants pouring into the country, the billions of gallons of sewage that are bubbling up into Mexico and into California. The International Boundary and Water Commission says that more than 100 billion, yes, that's with a B, gallons of untreated sewage has flowed into the Tijuana River in Mexico and emptied the Southern California coastal areas over the last 5 years. The mayor of Imperial Beach says that we are living in conditions that nobody in the great nation should be living in. These conditions have not only kept local beaches shuttered for nearly 3 years, but has led to the San Diego State University School of Public Health calling for a public health emergency. This is according to ABC News. Now, until the moment that I just referenced this, when have you heard about this? Is this like a first? Because it's definitely a first for me. And you know how it is around here about first times. But Think about it. Isn't that weird that this is not something that you've heard or that I've heard or that anybody's heard until right now? Kind of a weird thing to talk about. But hey, we're bringing it up because we need to. We need to bring it up. We need to talk about it a little bit. And that's okay to talk about some of these things because that's how news works. Anyways, Jeff Bezos has now dumped more than $8 billion worth of Amazon stock over the last 2 weeks. For the first time since 2021, Amazon stock is up more than 75% in the last year. So, turning it into cash is, an opportune time. Timing for Bezos is also strategically weighted to change his official residence to Florida from Seattle. Just the address change is saving him an estimated $600 million in taxes. Florida does not impose a state capital gains tax or income tax. This is according to the BBC. So there you go. It makes it some interesting times. Meanwhile, in Norway, a member of Norway's parliament has nominated Elon Musk for the Nobel Prize, citing that the billionaire's adamant defense of dialogue, free speech, and enabling the possibility to express one's views in a continuously more polarized world, according to the New York Post. So there you go. Wouldn't that be something? The man ends up winning a Nobel Prize. I wonder how many people would lose it if that would actually take place. There would be some people that are happy, some people that are miserable about it because this is kind of the way that it goes now. I don't know. I have no general feeling one way or another. So there you go. Anyways, about 4 months ago, a man lost the cremated ashes of his late wife while on a ferry from an island that to the mainland, seemingly vanishing from his bag. The man's family took to social media, desperate for anyone in the area to give him the tip to help them find what had happened. No hard feelings and no questions asked. Now the urn holding the ashes showed up at the Goodwill store. Once the clerk checked, something was strange about the donation, and then she did her own part on social media looking for the answers. Within hours, users pointed to her that the family that had just a few months ago passed had gone looking for them. The late woman's daughter tells local media that her mom frequently shopped at Goodwill and that it was a lighthearted quip. She just wanted one last look in there before she goes home. This is according to Fox 19. Now, I don't know. I don't know. This can get extremely strange in talking about this. What exactly were you doing with an urn on a ferry? Maybe that's the first question. And what do you normally do with ashes when it's all said and done? No, seriously, I don't know. I've heard all kinds of weird stuff. I've heard people spread ashes. I had a family member that buried another family member's ashes, which I thought that was kind of weird because I thought, when you got to the ash date, you just did something else. But what do I know? I don't know anything about this. This is not conversations you just normally sit around and have. So there you go. Anyways, a Massachusetts family of 3 was hospitalized over the weekend due to a faulty Easy Bake Oven. The mom, Stephanie, detailed the ordeal on TikTok, saying that her 8-year-old daughter and husband began experiencing chest pains and shortness of breath after attempting to bake a cake in the toy oven. The 3 were hospitalized overnight for suspect of carbon monoxide poisoning. Stephanie was recovering much faster than the other 2. She attributed her less severe symptoms to not having been in the room with the Easy Bake Oven. Her husband and daughter, meanwhile, were prescribed steroids and inhaler. This is according to TikTok. Because you know that you're having a good day when you're getting your source information from TikTok. I'm just saying, hey, hold on, calm it down. It's all good. Anyways, let's do this real quick. Let's talk about some money matters real quick because I have Aaron Royale waiting to talk to you.
Tinder is expanding its advanced ID verification system to the U.S. as part of an ongoing effort to improve safety on the dating app. Silvana Anau has the story.
The new system requires users take a video and selfie and upload a valid driver's license or passport. Once you upload your ID, Tinder will check whether it matches with your video, selfie, and photos on your profile. It will also check the date of birth on the license or passport to confirm your age. Tinder started testing the verification system last year in Australia and New Zealand.
Stanley may be fueling the cup craze, but the company is facing legal troubles. Lisa Taylor has more.
A new class action lawsuit claims the company did not disclose the use or presence of lead in its products. The suit was filed earlier this month by Seattle law firm Towsley Breen Stevens, PLLC. Several class action complaints are listed in the suit, including breach of contract, express warranties, and more. On Stanley's website, the company writes it is transparent about its use of lead and describes how its products are still deemed safe.
Boeing is replacing the head of its 737 MAX program. The company announced Wednesday that Ed Clark is leaving Boeing after nearly 2 decades. The 737-9 jet has been under scrutiny since a door plug blew out during an Alaskan Airlines flight last month. The FAA grounded all 737-9 MAX planes following the incident. In response, Boeing has said it is revamping its quality control procedures. New York is top of the list when it comes to sports betting revenue in the country. The American Gaming Association says New York took in nearly $1.7 billion last year, while New Jersey came in second with $1 billion. Sports betting was legalized in New York State 10 years ago, and it was only in 2002 that it fully launched online betting. When it comes to casino gambling, the Las Vegas Strip is king, raking in nearly $9 billion, while Atlantic City came in at $5.77 billion. Consumer and business news, Aaron Royale, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Aaron Royale, for that information right there. The Dow gained about 48 points to close at 38,612 on Wednesday. The S&P added about 6 points to close at 4,981, and the NASDAQ lost about 49 points to close at 15,580. West Texas Intermediate closed at $78 a barrel, and Brent crude was about $83 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.27 on Wednesday, and Bitcoin fell on Wednesday down about 1.3%, trading right around $51,300. There was more than 2,395 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Wednesday, and more than about 65 such cancellations, give or take. Friday night's Mega Million drawing will be for $525 million jackpot, or a $247.1 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, you have the opportunity to do so. So what do you think? What do you think? A lot of stuff to go. lot of stuff to go around. Just saying. So we talked about this at the top of the hour, so let's talk about this. Is Jimmy Kimmel saying goodbye to the late-night TV show? He hinted at the possibility of an exit in an interview with the Los Angeles Times, saying that that the time to leave ABC show could be sometime soon. Jimmy Kimmel Live debuted back in January of 2003. This is according to the LA Times. I didn't realize that show has been around for 21 years. Wow. I remember it didn't even normally start at the times that all the other ones used to start. What a weird time. I mean, wouldn't that be something to talk about? Anyways, take a listen to this. Colorado Springs is preparing for the worst. 3 hospitals held a mock disaster yesterday with partners from FBI to see how they would handle bioterrorism attack. Special Agent David Autry with the FBI says that these exercises are designed to build coordination between all responders.
There's no exercise I've ever been to that goes 100% perfect. So we learn from each scenario of things that we can do better to see how we can partnership and what other things we can bring to the table to help the hospitals prepare for this type of event.
Well, you definitely don't want them to go to 100% perfect because you know that would be bullshit anyways. Patients came in with symptoms often misdiagnosed with the difficulty swallowing, muscle weakness, double vision, and slurred speech. It was a simulate to the milk supply being poisoned, but also that the staff didn't know. The drill meant to help first responders focus on readiness, response, and recovery. Afterward, they discussed the challenges and highlighted the areas to improve. So there you go. Take a listen to this. If rearranging dishes is in the dishwasher, this too could be some fun. This is coming out of San Diego. Take a listen.
According to myappliance.com, the average household runs 5 dishwasher events every week. But before you hit start, Cascade, the detergent people, say 42% of us have an uncontrollable urge to rearrange what's already loaded. And it's not for space. It's a game. It's called Dishwasher Tetris. Psychology Today says if you do it, you're a perfectionist. Notice they didn't say control freak. I'm Bree Tennis.
Control freak is okay. There you go. What do you think? Do you play dishwasher tennis? Or Tetris, excuse me. Bree Tennis, Tetris, got a little confusing there. So yes, I don't know. Makes it a little interesting. Anyway, several projects are underway in downtown Detroit ahead of the NFL draft in April. The Downtown Development Authority has 5 projects underway, including replacing brick pavers on sidewalks along the Woodward Avenue and making repairs around 1,000 light bulbs. Take a listen.
We'll have 300,000, maybe 400,000 guests coming into the downtown corridor. Some of those folks are local that hadn't been downtown in a long time. Some of those folks are from Cleveland, from Pittsburgh, from Green Bay, Wisconsin.
That is Kevin Johnson, the president and CEO of the Detroit Economic Growth, which is the parent organization of the DDA. Wayfinding signs will also be constructed to help people as they walk through the city. President and CEO of the Detroit Economic Growth, Kevin Johnson, says there are plenty of projects underway in the city ahead of the NFL draft in April.
Just not a one-off, but yes, the light shines brightest on the biggest prize. And this is a big prize for the city of Detroit to host the draft.
Oh, how sweet is that? How sweet it is to be loved by you, Okay, that's something else. Anyways, an art installation at the World of Winter Festival in downtown Grand Rapids has been hit by vandals. Two Eagles Marcus created an exhibit called Four Directions, and people climbed on it, breaking two of the light fixtures in the cube.
We had made efforts to cover it up with a sign. They broke the sign, flipped it over, unplugged it. And then I also see on that cube up there, we're missing a speaker. So someone has actually broken a speaker off and taken it with them.
One light stopped working completely, and he says that they also unplugged several times. It looks like 200 hours for him to design and build, costing hundreds of dollars. Marcus says it's a small percentage of people that are disrupting others' enjoyment of the art, and the organization with Grand Rapids Incorporated are aware of the issues. Two Eagle Marcus says the Four Directions art installation in downtown Grand Rapids has been vandalized.
When the climbers climbed it, they broke two of the light fixtures that are in the cubes, on this one right here and the top one. So that one of them, the light stopped working completely.
Okay, so there you go. Vandalization of some art. Take a listen to this. A waitress at Mason Jar Cafe in Benton Harbor is out of a job after she shared her side of receiving $10,000 tip on Facebook. Lindsay Boyd has hired Jennifer McManaxis as her attorney after the restaurant threatened to sue her for defamation after her Facebook post, which says that the co-workers told Boyd and others that people were aware of working at back in of the house and working in different shifts were upset that the tip wasn't shared with them.
I at least made them aware of things that were being said.
The $10,000 tip was split up to $1,100 amount among the servers, and a manager called Boyd and asked her to take the post down and said that the owners have every right now to sue you and your entire estate. With her reply, "I ain't got much." Former Mason Jar Cafe server Lindsay Boyd, she says that she was fired after sharing her thoughts on Facebook about receiving and sharing a $10,000 tip.
I was told legal action is being taken against me, and that if I wanted lawyers to be after me for the foreseeable future, I needed to take my post down.
I just don't understand sometimes about how hot and bothered we get about some of these postings. It's just amazing to me in regards on how that works. But hey, I'm just the voice of the voiceless, so what the hell do I know?
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
So here we are, 33 minutes or so past the top of the hour, as we are hanging out on this lovely Thursday. We really need to get some days, some names for some of these days, because Whip About Wednesdays is great, but Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, I got nothing. So let's talk. And I go through some of these things that I get to interact with, and I sit here and sometimes just have a cluster in my mind on how to talk about some of this stuff. And I'm always amazed on this research that we do as end users wanting to be able to predict the next event. And the way that some organizations will go so far out of their way to acknowledge some of this stuff, to be able to get this tiddy bit of data, to be able to say, oh yes, this is what's going to happen. I know it, and we need to take care of it now. And what am I talking about in particular? Well, let's talk about this. Why is it that we're constantly looking for predictive measures? Why are we looking for, hey, this piece of software is going to tell me where our next incident is going to happen inside of our system and go, okay, that's how it's going to work. It's always amazing to me that we always have these things that we kind of know, okay, well, this is supposed to happen and that's okay. So you kind of go through that portion of, oh, okay, well, this is going to happen. Someone's going to fall. We're going to be okay. And life is going to go on as possible. But then if you have somebody who you wouldn't normally believe that would actually fall and life continue on, let's say, for instance, a field worker, and all of a sudden now you all of a sudden have somebody from the C-suite or middle management that has fallen and gotten hurt. Now everything has flipped itself on its head going, oh my God, now we need all of this stuff that tells us about predictive text in regards to what the hell is going to happen next. And we need to know everything that's going to happen when it's going to happen. So let me ask you the strange question. If you had a piece of software that could tell you everything that is going to happen inside of your organization before it happens, how would you use it? So would you stop work? Would you start work? Would you tell people not to come in? How would this information work? Because I'm always curious on if such software existed, if such predictable stuff existed of here is the environment that's conducive to this occurring and that's what's going to happen, how would you get that to work? I'm really concerned and confused by it. Because when it's all said and done, what's going to happen? It's like asking someone if you could know the day that you're going to die, would you want to know it? Most people would tell you no. So this predictive text software, this algorithm that's supposed to be able to tell you the future, what is it going to do for your organization? Like, seriously, I always want to know what the assumption is, because what would you do? Like, what exactly are you going to do? Like, what are you going to change? What is going to change inside of your workplace? Because the unfortunate portion that I'm going to say here next is not the greatest thing. But in most organizations, revenue is king. And yeah, I'll take an injury and I'll take a risk and I'll take all these other things that we will put people's life on the line if we can make $1. I know people are not going to love hearing that, and that's okay. But think about it. You have the position that you have because you are helping the machine, and that's okay. But you are helping the machine by giving a level of coaching, giving a level of saying this is what could possibly occur if you don't do X, Y, and Z. Now, you've never stopped an incident from occurring, and you've never caused an incident to occur. That's the great thing about coaching. You never did one or the other. You're just saying, hey, this is what could potentially happen. Good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. So, tell me, what would your prediction be and what would change? Because a lot of people would love to know what exactly you would do next.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Let me talk to you real quick. What is HelloFresh? With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Spend your time this month shopping for gifts and sipping cocoa, not stuck at the checkout line. Sign up for HelloFresh and get everything you need to whip up a fresh, tasty meal delivered to your door. Just choose your recipes, select a delivery date, and relax knowing the dinner's on its way. HelloFresh has over 45 recipes and more than 100 seasonal add-on items to choose from every week, so it's easier than ever to find something everyone will enjoy. Go to HelloFresh.com/SafetyFM free. That's HelloFresh.com/SafetyFM free to use the code SafetyFM free for free breakfast for life. One breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life at HelloFresh.com/SafetyFM free with code SafetyFM free. And don't forget that this is why HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit.
It's this show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Rated R Safety Show. Sarcastic? Never.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
We are radio. We are sarcasm. We are both combined. Radio Big.
Okay, and we are back 44 minutes past the top of the hour here on the Rated R Safety Show. Yeah, we are still hanging out on radiobig.fm and safety.fm or safetyfm.com. Still doing our thing. Still part of the Jay Allen in the Morning Show. Yeah, for those asking, repping the Austin 316 podcast today. Yeah, it's been a while since you probably heard that one. So let's get into it. This right here playing in the background, it's Daydream Kansai. Songs readily available on iTunes or Apple Music for those. YouTube Music. And Spot of the Fi. So there you go. That's by Go Hawaii. Should give it a little streamer emer action if you get the chance. Would like to thank Go Hawaii for allowing us to play this here. So some good times. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the moving and the groove and of everything that is going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that is what we do here. And let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friend Zette to write love on her arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. And to write love on her arms, I want you to know that people have been where you are now and things can get better. All you have to do is go to twloha.com and click on the section that says Find Help. That's twloha.com. There's all kinds of information there related to how they might be able to assist you. They have scholarships that are available, international resources. You can suggest a program. There's also all kinds of information if you need immediate help, everything from the crisis text line to the crisis text line in the UK, the US, Ireland, just to name a few, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, Trans Lifeline, and the Trevor Project, just to name a few. Also information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, and grief support and resources, just to name a few. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to twloha.com and click on the section that says Find Help. Some information for you in regards of that, because that's going to be super important as we are talking. As we continue to talk real quick, let's talk about some other stuff. Deep down, we all knew it, and now scientists are backing us up. Men and women's brains do work differently. Researchers at the Stanford University demonstrated the difference between the brains of men and women by using artificial intelligence, which was more than 90% accurate in differentiating between the sexes based on hotspots shown in the brain scans. The AI was able to detect the differences in the areas of the brain which are responsible for self-focus and introspection, for forming habits and rewards, and the area that regulates emotion. The study author says that researchers reveals that sex plays a crucial role in cognitive development and aging. You might want to rephrase that, buddy. How about gender plays the crucial role, and we don't want to give anyone the wrong impression. And wow, who would have ever thought that men and women's brains regulate emotions differently? That's sarcasm, in case you missed it. I mean, think about it. I think that that's part of things that we already knew. I mean, don't you think? I mean, I don't know if this is some big breakthrough in regards of what we're figuring out here. I mean, what do you think? Or do you think that this is something that, it's a world-changing event here? I don't know. It gets weird sometimes when we start talking about some stuff as we are going through it. Anyways, take a listen to this. Here is the road to the White House, because we haven't talked about it, I don't believe, over the last couple of days. Take a listen to this.
Road to the White House 2024. Former President Trump says the race between he and Nikki Haley was settled 3 months ago.
She's here. She's down by 30, 35 points. And everybody knows her. You're not supposed to lose your home state. But anyway, and she's losing it big.
During a live town hall Tuesday on Fox News, Trump said that candidates should not be trailing in their home state. Haley, the former South Carolina governor, is currently projected to lose the state to Trump in most polls by a wide margin. She vowed to stay in the race during a campaign event in the state Tuesday, regardless of the outcome of Saturday's South Carolina primary. Haley argued that the majority of Americans dislike both Trump and President Biden. In Washington, I'm Brian Shook.
Okay, so there you go. There's the road to the White House. It'll be interesting to see as things do continue to go on. No doubt about it. So take a listen to this. We'll play a little brief clipper here. Okay, the trial over the song lyrics of the Eagles' Hotel California is starting in New York in the city courtroom. The word to the 1977 hit were written by hand, but disappeared. Years later, 3 men were accused of trying to sell the lyrics in an auction houses, knowing that they were stolen. Group members Don Henley is expected to testify at some point. Wednesday, the band's manager testified on how significant the Hotel California album is and was and still sits in the number 3 best-selling album of all time. The case will be decided by a judge. So what do you think? It'll be interesting to see what exactly happens when it's all said and done. Let's talk about this coming out of Tampa, Florida. Ron DeSantis might be out of the presidential campaign, but he is still traveling the country. The governor was in Indiana and South Carolina on Tuesday in support of congressional limits.
This is something that the people in the states have the ability to propose changes to discipline Washington. The founding fathers structured the Constitution like that for a reason.
DeSantis is encouraging state legislators to pass the resolution and calling for a constitutional amendment. He told the crowd in Columbia, South Carolina, in terms limits that are supported by most Americans, it's time to make it happen. DeSantis says the term limits is an issue that everyone can support.
We've seen what's happened up there. It's been really poor performance for decades now. The incentives are not right. We need to change the incentives. Term limits is one way to do it.
So there you go. Some information for you. It'll be interesting to see what exactly is happening. Anyways, U.S. prosecutors say the Japanese crime boss have been trafficking nuclear material to sell to Iran. Mark Mayfield has the story.
An indictment was announced on Wednesday against Takeshi Ebisawa, who prosecutors claim is a leader in Japan's Yakuza crime syndicate. Ebisawa is being charged with trafficking uranium and plutonium with the expectation that Iran would use the materials to make nuclear weapons. The 60-year-old Ebisawa is already being held on drug and weapons trafficking charges. He's expected to appear this morning in federal district court in Manhattan. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, thank you, Mark Mayfield. Let's talk a couple of more here if we can. Let's talk about this one. Baltimore has settled a lawsuit with Polymer 80, one of the largest manufacturers of parts to make ghost guns, which have no serial number and nearly impossible to track. Mayor Brandon Scott says it's a historic settlement.
We know that ghost guns have been a huge problem for us. No one should be able to go online, order 3 parts, and put together without having to have some regulation. Congress should outright ban ghost guns in the country, but we won't have to worry about them in the state of Maryland.
Under the settlement, Baltimore will receive $1.2 million in damages for Polymer 80 is permanently banned from advertising in Maryland or selling ghost guns to state residents. The company must also ban dealers in nearby states from selling ghost guns to Maryland residents, cease all customer support in Maryland, and provide quarterly reports. The CD is detailing the sales in neighboring states. Baltimore police seized 462 ghost guns so far this year and have seized 43 weapons. These city residents are glad to hear about the settlement.
I think that is a step in the right direction.
I think it's fantastic.
So there you go. Let's see. Do we have one more in us? Let's do this. Washington Governor Jay Inslee has signed a bill that aims to crack down on gas evasion. Brad Ford reports.
The tax is supposed to be charged when a tanker truck gets the fuel, and the 49 cents is supposed to be passed along and collected when drivers buy the gas. But in some cases, the tax isn't paid when the gas goes into the tanker. The bill creates a team in the Department of Licensing that'll audit the purchases to make sure the tax is collected. It's expected to boost gas tax revenue about $16 million a year. Brad Ford, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Brad Ford, for that. Let's do this. John Smalls here. Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. Today's quote was submitted by R.C. Gracie Allen said, "Smartness runs in my family. When I went to school, I was so smart my teacher was in my class for 5 years." I love that very funny quote. Gracie Allen was hilarious. Super smart, too. Have you ever noticed how many comedians are much smarter than they appear to be? They often play dumb on stage to be, in character. But if they're the ones writing their jokes, it takes amazing wit to be that good. Even the silly comedians who do jokes that seem basic, for them to construct these jokes and put together a whole comedy set that flows from one great joke to another great joke, that takes brains. Gracie was smart. Lucille Ball was also smart. And there's so many more. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
The New Jersey Poison Center is warning consumers about a product considered gas station heroin. The dietary supplement's official name is Neptune's Fix, and it's legal. But officials say it includes a highly addictive supplement that's considered a depression drug. The FDA says possible side effects include seizures, loss of consciousness, and death. Excessive amounts of niacin can lead to a heightened risk for heart disease. That's according to a new study. Researchers from the Cleveland Clinic found that a product formed from excess amounts of B vitamin could be a previously unknown driver of cardiovascular problems. Dr. Stanley Hazen explains.
By understanding it's involved, now we can begin to do the process of how do we intervene on this pathway.
Niacin is common in Western diets, promoted as a way to fight high cholesterol and nutritional deficiency. Health Updates, Sarah Lee Kessler, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Sarah Lee, for that information right there on what is going on. So let's talk about this on some things that happened back on this day. So let's take a look around. Let's see. Let's go back to 2019. Robert Kraft is charged with soliciting prostitution. The New England Patriots owner was caught at a human trafficking sting operating at a massage parlor in Jupiter, Florida. The spokesperson for Kraft did not deny that he participated in a sex act at the parlor, only that he did not engage in an illegal activity. Hey now. So there you go. That happened back in 2019. Just for information purposes. Let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today. Rajon Rondo turns 38. Drew Barrymore turns 49. James Blunt, 50. Michael Rubin, 52. Pat LaFonte turns 59. Amy Alcott turns 68. Julius Irving turns 74. Yeah, good old Dr. J there. Julie Walters turns 74. So there you go. There's some birthdays for you if you're looking for that. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, well, I always have some of those for you. It's National Margarita Day, World Thinking Day, National Recreation, Sports, and Fitness Day, Supermarket Employee Day, National Chili Day, World Yoga Day, National Walking the Dog Day, National Cook Sweet Potato Day, Be Humble Day, Introduce a Girl to Engineering Day, and Single Tasking Day, just in case if you were looking for some. That's some days to celebrate, no doubt about that. If you're looking for a random joke for today, I have one of those for you. One day, you're the best thing since sliced bread. The next day, you're toast. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. To you, what's your most disgusting sound clean word in the English language? The top 5, according to one survey, is pus, seepage, moist, fester, and phlegm. So there you go. If you need a question for the water cooler, try this. Over 80% of us have at least one of these, but don't fully appreciate it until the age of 28. That's a sibling, just in case if you were wondering. Anyways, thank you for hanging out with me on this lovely Thursday. It's been a good time hanging out with you. At the top of the hour, Sheldon Primus will take over here on Safety FM and do the things that he does around the world of safety consulting. If you want to hang out with me on Radio Big, I'll be going over there for the next couple of hours talking about the world of music and entertainment. You can do that over there if you're so inclined to do so. All you have to do is go to that side of the network. Anyways, if I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. What lies behind you and what lies in front of you pales in comparison of what lies inside you. Think about that. Anyways, thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, it doesn't make a lot of sense to do what we do around here. I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.